You might recognize Jeff Usner from ABC's The Secret Millionaire.
And there is something I haven't told you guys 100% about me. That is that I'm actually a very successful businessman.
It's hard to believe, but before Jeff became a millionaire, he was $285,000 in debt. He worked endless hours and never saw his family. Then Jeff got his priorities right. He put his family first and cut back his hours by 50%. 8 months later, he was debt-free. Within 18 months, he created a multi-million-dollar internet company.
Jeff is also the author of a new book entitled Internet Millionaire, Your Blueprint to Succeed. Jeff, welcome to the 700 Club.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Secret Millionaire. Wouldn't we all love to have that title?
I don't know. Maybe.
I know. Well, you know, that brings me to a point. A lot of us, when we think about being a millionaire, we think money is the healing balm to all of our problems, right? Yeah. And we say, if we just were a millionaire, if I just had this, then I wouldn't have any challenges in life. Well, there's a season, you know, when you kind of had the American dream, but yet you had a lot of challenges. Let's take me back to that time.
Well, it wasn't, boy, just 4 years ago or so, 5 years ago, that I was in a really hard situation. I was deep in debt. I was working long, endless hours. Didn't get to see my wife, didn't get to see my kids. And it was really a stressful time for me. And there was a moment where I thought things couldn't get any worse. And that's when I got a phone call from my wife, which is the type of phone call you don't want to get.
Yeah.
And she was about 9 months pregnant with our third boy, James. And, you know, we're excited, anticipated, because I already had 2 sons, and excited about bringing James into the world. And she was just bawling on the other end of the line. And just saying, you know, there's no heartbeat. She had been at one of her last checkups before we delivered. And so that led into a really big downward spiral for me. And led to one of the hardest moments of my life the next day.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So you both lost that child. And during this time, I'm just curious, what was your relationship with the Lord like? You know, was it at the point where work was first, God was first? Tell me your life.
Jeff was first. Work was first, I think, in my life. I was sacrificing a lot, going after a dream that I had. And was sacrificing everything. And after James, you know, we delivered him. And the thing that maybe a lot of people don't understand is that after a baby dies in the womb, you still have to deliver the baby. So you go through childbirth, and watching my wife go through that, you know, it really revealed to me what an amazing, I already knew she was amazing, but one of the strongest women I know. And then after he was born, holding him for 2 days, his cold body, and praying, because I'd read in the Bible, you know, raising people from the dead. And that's what got us through that, is that he would be alive when he was born. And it really grew my faith to another challenge that I'd have just 4 months later when I was at the gym working out, just doing a warm-up set. I felt like my head exploded and got nauseous, was dizzy, my face was numb, and came home, and my wife's like, you need to go to the doctor. So went to the doctor, and gave me a CAT scan, emergency room immediately, CAT scan. I went to my office. I get a phone call from this doctor saying, you need to rush back here now. You've had a major stroke. And I was like, wow, because I was 34 years old. I was in shape, ate pretty healthy, but I was very stressed out. So it was a hard time in my life. But before I left to go back to the hospital, I had 2 people in my office pray over me, Phil and Serban. And because I'd seen healings in my life in the last few years with other people, I'd never experienced it myself. And they prayed over me. And I didn't feel anything then, but as I'm driving to the hospital, I felt something hit me, and I was like, wow, I was just healed. But I still had to show up at the hospital, the same one we just lost our son at just a few months earlier. But this time, I've got the gown on, I've got the IV in my arm, I'm the one going in for tests. Went through a day of tests overnight. They came back, they said, we don't know what to tell you, but it's gone. The blockage you had, all the arteries, the event that happened in your head is no longer there.
Wow.
So that was amazing.
Truly amazing, truly a miracle. So obviously you saw the provision and the miracle working power of God in your life during this season. So what was it that all of a sudden changed your paradigm? Because, you know, from what I know, if I could sum up your life, you're a successful businessman, but deep in debt. You just had a third baby who went on to be with the Lord. Stroke at the age of 34. You know, heals you, not necessarily your son, or heals your son in heaven. How about that?
Amen,
But then it gets to the point where, do you kind of look at your life and you say, okay, Lord, what are you trying to tell me?
you think you'd get to a point where you're like, something's got to change.
Yeah.
But I still went on and was just, because there were so many clients we were serving, but there was a moment I came home from work, and I remember looking at the dinner table and just not knowing how I was going to be able to put food on the table for my family. And I dropped to my knees, and I just said, Lord, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. And that was a really big moment for me, just giving it over to him. And he, you know, when you do that, he quickly showed up. Now, I had to go through developing some skill sets because he was basically giving me what I could handle financially. I learned to deal with debt, got out of debt within about 8 months. One of my good friends, Danny Johnson, Hans Johnson, speak on a course about getting rid of debt. I followed it, got out of debt, and my life was transformed after that.
Well, take me to the how. You know, there are a lot of people out there who are going through different situations. They are in debt. Their family seems to be in turmoil. But you redirected your entire life. You put God, who was back here,
Yes.
up forward. And what did you do with your business? Give me the how.
God.
Come on, tell me what you did.
God went number 1.
Okay.
Put my wife number 2. I put my kids right there 3, and then work last. I cut back about 50% of my hours, and I just started to trust that he would provide. You know, he's Jehovah Jireh. He's our provider.
Yeah.
And when I did that, actually, there was a moment, I still struggled in business, but there was a moment just about 3 years ago where I was sitting at my desk. I was working at home because I said, I'm done at the office. I want to be at home with my kids. I've missed out on their lives. And I'm sitting at my desk, and I've been struggling. He goes, do you want me to show you how to do this? And I said, yes. So I'm glad I was listening. I wrote down something, and that's what I've been using in business now for years. First month created about $36,000 in revenue, and it's gone on to create millions of dollars, be on ABC's Secret Millionaire,
Right.
and that's all in just a few years. So
Right.
that's what I put in the book, was that exact thing that he gave me. So,
Amazing. So you
yeah.
put things back in God's order, in God's
Yes.
perspective, put him at the head, and God blessed you. And so you have become that secret millionaire.
Yeah.
So, shh, don't tell anybody. All right, really quick, we can't have you leave without talking about the show. So tell us a little bit about this program, The Secret Millionaire.
Well, it's an amazing show. You know, they show up at your house. They spend a day with you, with your kids and your family. My wife had a date, but then you get in a cab, and they say, as soon as that door closes, we're not talking to you. So door closes, you don't know where you're going, you don't know, you know you're going to be living on welfare wages in an impoverished area. And we drove past the San Antonio airport, you know, right near my house, and I said, I guess I'm in San Antonio. So I had no idea where I was going. They drove me to the west side of San Antonio, where I'd never been. And yeah, from there you go and you serve in 3 organizations, and they think you're just doing a documentary on volunteering on their organizations. And I served there. I helped at Habitat for Safe Seniors. I helped at Team Ability, which helps multiple disability children, and the Advocates for Social Services, helping inner city boxing, keeping kids out of gangs. Anyway, at the end of the week, I say, hey, guess what? I'm a millionaire. And you have to say that. It's a weird thing for me to say.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah.
you basically reveal who you are, and then you give a financial donation, and people
that's
get kind of rocked.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, all the things that you've learned. You've learned a lot in life.
Yes.
What's the main thing that you want to share with our viewers in terms of what God has ministered to you about?
Just keeping God first in everything that you do. You know, when you wake up, seek Him first. Pray, say, God, this is your day. Let your will be done. Walking through the Lord's Prayer like I do with my kids every day, and just submit to Him and let Him guide you, and get out of your own way.
Come on, brother. Good words, Jeff. Thank you
you
so much for being here. The great millionaire tips, if you want them, which I'm sure we all want, is in Jeff's book called The Internet Millionaire. It is also called Your Blueprint to Succeed. It's available nationwide wherever books are sold. You can always log on to CBN.com and find some information on his book as well. Also, you can watch Secret Millionaire on ABC Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shh, it's a secret, the whole millionaire thing. Just kidding. All right, thank you. Thank you again, Jeff. I appreciate you, Pat. Over to you.
Inspiring. And by the way, I congratulate ABC. It's a terrific program, and it's very heartwarming. It's kind of like the people who built houses, you know, for people. It stirs people's, well, they want to give, they want to be encouraged, and this is an encouragement.